Yo. All right. So somebody commented on my last video that I should talk about depression. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I just got back from the gym, but I've had an interesting experience with depression. I think naturally I'm a pretty depressed person. My mom tells this story all the time that on like my 5th birthday, I said, it's a very sad day. So from a really early age, I was always kind of looking at the world through a lens of being sad. And then growing up, I found a ton of interest with musical theater and acting and singing. And I loved basketball growing up. And, as I got older, like 13 through 17 or 18, even maybe 13 through 19, 20, I really struggled with depression. I think part of it might have been being in the public eye, and I think naturally I had gone through some really dark periods. I've talked about it sometimes, but there was a week of my life where I didn't get out of bed. I was just so mentally exhausted, and when the one thing that you want to be able to count on, which is your brain and your mind, when the one thing you want to be able to count on turns against you, it's a really dark, dark thing. And it's confusing, and you lose interest. I lost interest in everything. I didn't respond to anybody. And it can be really dark. And I've had periods like that even recently. There's some days where I wake up and I feel like I'm just behind the program of life. I'm not willing to rise to the occasion of my own life. And, I've gotten way better at dealing with it and understanding that some days I'm going to feel on top of the world and other days I'm going to feel like I'm far from that. And I think there's different things that I know help me. And one of them is going to the gym. Going to the gym allows me to let out a lot of my anger. It allows me to let out a lot of my depression, because I think there's like scientifically studies that show that when you are working out intensely, the endorphins start going, and that makes there's a sense of control that I think you can get from working out. There's a sense of power that you can get from working out, and there's a sense of I don't know, you can feel a certain sense of, in a weird way, importance and self-love through it. I mean, if you look in the mirror and you see, oh, wow, my muscles are growing, you feel better about yourself. And you've done something challenging that maybe you didn't want to do before you worked out, and you pushed through and you worked hard and you feel better. I remember so many of my therapists were like, you need to start working out. And I just never understood that. I was like, I don't think it's going to do anything for me. And once you really start giving it a fair try and you go multiple times, it's not on the first try, maybe 4 or 5 times, and you get into a rhythm of it and you start feeling, sore, and you push through and you start seeing some progress, I mean, that becomes a great thing that you can rely on when you're having a day that you don't feel the best. Another thing would be breath work, deep breathing, and I'll do a video on that. Deep breath work has really helped me. Meditation and praying. Praying every single day has really helped me. And there's days where sometimes I forget, but it's become something that I do every day on average. And that brings a lot of peace, It allows me to express my love for the people that I love. It allows me to feel loved and feel like there's something out there that's more powerful than me, which some people might call the universe, other people might call God. And I think it's important to understand that we are so small in the world, yet we don't know what this experience really is, We're on this floating rock, and we're making the best of it, and we don't have to have all the answers right now. But if we just live our life in a way with meaningful purpose and stick to a plan and have good intentions and treat the people in our lives with love and respect, I think life can be definitely worth living for anybody. And so I guess that would be kind of what I have to say about um, depression. I think some people are naturally more depressed than others. And I think for the people that are naturally more depressed than others, like myself, and it's funny because a lot of the people, well, let me finish that thought. Hold on. For the people that are more depressed than others, like myself, it's important to build habits that can combat that. Whether that be the breath work or the gym or whatever it works for you, whether it's watching a certain TV show and you just need to take your mind off it. You need to find what works for you and learn how to use those things in a healthy way. For a long time, to run away from my depression, I would smoke and drink and do other stuff. Now I'm over a year. I'm over a year and 3 months without having to do any of that. I've been sober for that period of time and learning how to naturally find that peace, because ultimately that stuff led me down a path of feeling more depressed. It covers it up for a little bit, and then when that goes away, it's even worse. And so I had to learn how to find balance and be okay with that and find, different strategies. And I'm finding every day. I haven't figured it out. And I don't think that's the point of life, is to fully figure it out. It's to find ways to start to figure it out. And I think you continue to find them as you live life. I forget what I was going to say after that, but yeah. Oh, I was going to say, I don't really remember. Oh, okay. I don't remember. But yeah, I think overall, depression is something that can be worked on and naturally worked on. You know, for a long time growing up, from 13 through 17 or 18, doctors were prescribing me medication that was supposed to combat the depression and the anxiety. We can do another video on anxiety, but ultimately, I didn't want to have to rely on that. And I know for some people, medication's a great thing, and I'm not bashing medication at all. I'm just saying for some people, I think you can find extreme peace naturally, and that was a goal that I just personally wanted to achieve. And so when I got sober, I stopped taking all antidepressants, anything like that. I naturally have just fully sort of surrendered to reality, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah, I think it's less exciting, but it's more balanced, and I think balance is the key to longevity. So for anybody else out there, I just want to say that struggling with depression, it won't last forever. My mom one time told me that it feels sometimes when you're depressed like you've always been depressed. And the truth is you haven't. You've probably had some really great experiences too. So don't lose sight of that. Keep moving forward and keep being the amazing person you are.